righty dokie. Writing scripts and making sure I've done my research is kind of more than I've got time for right now. And I've not been watching so much stuff that's made me feel really impassioned enough to comment on. So I thought I would give you a bit of an insight into how my recovery's going. And that's recovery from anorexia, which I had I've had it for most of my adult life. And I've relapsed and gone around in a cycle time and time again. It's getting a bit boring now, hoping that one day I might be free of constant thoughts of what my body looks like and wanting to control my weight and what I put in my mouth. It's only like 4 years and then I'll be 40. I can't see how I don't know, I just don't know if it's even possible at this point to recover. So I'm just having to settle for making the best of any small bit of recovery that I can have. But I'm at a point in my recovery from my most recent relapse where I'm just thinking that I feel like I've woken up inside a different body. I gained weight very, very slowly at the very beginning of this period of recovery, and then I gained 20 pounds in like a month and a half. And that's really triggering. If you've had an eating disorder for a long time, gaining that amount of weight, and I'm a small person, so that was a lot of weight to gain in such a short time. Plus I wasn't drinking alcohol, and I was drinking alcohol in my relapse. So here we are, 30 odd pounds later, and I just feel like I'm wearing another body on top of my body. I made a promise to myself that I would never allow myself to be overweight again. And I'm not overweight. The problem is, it's all so quick that I haven't really had time for my head to catch up with my body. So I still feel like I'm gonna look in the mirror in the morning and see that really thin person that I used to see, and that made me happy. It sounds ridiculous. I'm a grown woman. I know that happiness doesn't come from being thin, but unfortunately I was happy with my body. I was happy with the way I looked in clothes. I was happy that I looked more androgynous, that I no longer had a reason for men to yell at me in the street. Excuse my voice, by the way, I don't know why I'm so croaky. I liked being straight up and down, having no shape. Because, believe it or not, I know most people will come at me saying, well, men don't like that. Well, you know what? I didn't do it for men, I did it for me. It was about how I felt about my own body. It's really tough to come to terms with what feels like a betrayal in some ways. I worked so hard at my own expense, but I worked so hard to get the body that I had always wanted. And I didn't do it in a good way, I didn't do it in a healthy way, and I'm very aware that most people thought I looked bloody awful. But it made me happy, and I don't know how I'm going to end up, if I ever do, turning it around so that I'm okay with my body. I don't know if I'll ever be okay with it. So anyway, I'm now training in the gym like a crazy person because I just at least would like to look toned. The problem is when you gain that much fat that quickly, a lot of it's water, so you feel very squishy and you feel sluggish. It's like exercising wearing armbands or something. So let's be honest here for a second. People always, hashtag recovery, or I don't know, people talk about recovery as if it's this amazing thing and you're like getting your life back, and I feel like the reverse has happened. I'm not happy about it. The only reason I agreed in my own mind to recover was because my brain had stopped functioning. I was finding it hard to do my job. I wasn't able to be the best mom I could be, and that's the only reason that I did it. Had it been left to me, I would have just carried on. I would have maintained where I was or weighed less. And it's not like I go around judging other people on the basis of how much they weigh or what they look like, because I really don't. But it's different when it's you. It's kind of a juxtaposition for me. I spend a lot of time thinking about the big questions of life and the meaning of the universe and all of that kind of stuff, yet I still have this importance that I place on what my physical body looks like. Not what it does, not how well it serves me in living my life, which I only get one of, but on how it looks. The idea of waking up in the morning and feeling empty, feeling physically empty and light, and as if I could just float away on a cloud. I feel like I'll never experience that again. So whilst I know people are busy making videos about how great recovery is, for me it's not great. For me it feels like my world is collapsing in around me. You know, life gets in the way. I've had to give up the things that I did that gave me a purpose before, like music. I don't feel inspired to write anymore, and I don't do much writing. I just don't have a project or a thing that I do. I don't go out socially, and that was mostly ruined by my eating disorder. But I was happy spending time with myself for the first time in my entire life. Because one of the things that BPD, borderline personality disorder, does is make you very dependent on people. Very much about relationships, or I hate you, don't leave me is the classic line. You want somebody there with you 24/7. I remember I used to not be able to survive 5 minutes without whoever it was that I was in love with at the moment in time, you know. But now I finally enjoy spending time with myself. The one thing that I did have left that I'd worked so hard on, and I saw results, I knew I could make it happen, was getting as thin as possible. And I did it really well. I have the photos to prove it. So there is always going to be that sense of it's a failure. It's a failure to recover. You promised yourself you would never get fat again, and you failed. But when you try to say to someone, you know, I'm sort of slap bang in the middle of the normal range now, but the weight is distributed in a way that makes me look very rotund, let's say. It makes me look fatter than I am, because all the weight goes on around your middle to protect your vital organs, because your body's had no protection for however long that you've been so underweight. And it was a long time this time. So I don't look good. I don't look like someone that trains in the gym 5-6 days a week. I just don't. And it makes me miserable. I have to be honest. I don't want to be someone that pretends that recovery is all wonderful, because it really isn't. It's really horrible. It's really horrible, and I want to quit every day. So there you go. That was a cheerful video, wasn't it? I'm just feeling really demoralised, I guess. If you're someone with a similar experience to me, it's hard, but you can do it. And I have my fingers crossed that eventually I will get to a point where I'm just happy that I have a body. It's not that I'm not. I am very happy that I have a body that all pretty much works fine, apart from, you know, I've got some physical health conditions I've talked about before, but for the most part, you know, I can exercise, I can walk, I can run, I can do all the stuff I need to do. I can be a mum, I can have a job, I can enjoy the outdoors. But it's okay to feel shitty about recovery. It's alright to struggle with it. And if you're supporting someone else who has an eating disorder or is starting to recover, be really kind with them, be really patient, and don't expect them to start smiling about it straight away, because they probably won't. Inside themselves, they will probably be desperate to go back to those old behaviours. And I think we should talk about the grubbier side of recovery. I don't think I'm even going to call it recovery anymore, because actually it's only my physical body that is recovering, regenerating. My mind, I don't think will ever have a recovery, because I've got, you know, BPD, that's a lifelong disorder. You just learn to manage the symptoms. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you can manage them so well that you do start to rewire things. I don't think that I'm one of those people. And I accept that. So, you know, recovery is possible, but it doesn't mean everyone will. A lot of us will just be living alongside mental illness and dealing with it on a daily basis. So I guess I'm just saying, please understand. Please try and understand. And think of it like you would a physical condition. Because, you know, a brain is a physical organ. It's the most amazingly intricate organ that we have. And it can do amazing things. So if you think about that power, when it's used against you, it's formidable. It's really hard to argue with it. Yeah, that was hard. Enough from me. Goodbye.